Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/nottheshow. Over 100,000 titles to choose from your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Audibletrial.com/nottheshow. Good evening and welcome to Not the Show. I'm Joe.
And I'm Mondo.
How are you, my friend?
I am well, thank you.
That's good.
I have not had my face chewed off.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. I was trying to recall that story for Jen and I couldn't remember the details.
Yeah, that's our theme song for this evening was Walk Like a Zombie by the Horror Pops, played in honor of the fact that people are chewing each other's faces off. In Florida, naked people. The people are eating each other everywhere. It's a zombie outbreak. The CDC says no.
Not really a zombie outbreak?
They say it's bath salts. Bath salts make people crazy.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, I mean, that guy ate that guy's face off.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
For like 18 minutes!
Definitely nuts.
And people are upset because the cop shot the guy like a bunch of times to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he shot him one time. The guy didn't stop eating the other guy's face. He growled at the cop and kept eating. So everyone's mad that the cop, kept shooting.
What was he supposed to do? Let him eat the guy's face off?
Yeah, I'm down with that, man. It's like, I don't consider that police brutality. It's like you ask someone to stop eating someone's face. You shoot him once, and he growls at you and continues to eat someone's face. Yeah, I'm gonna unload a clip into him. But
I completely agree.
Zombie attacks.
Zombies.
All over the place, too. There's other, I don't remember exactly where, but I mean, other people have been eating people lately.
It's a crazy world.
It is.
I don't know what's going on.
It's probably Obama's fault.
It's got to be.
That's what, I'm sure someone's gonna blame Obama.
Who else could it be?
Exactly. You know, I mean, I've recently lost my job.
I heard. I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I gotta say, I'm not gonna eat anyone's face. So.
Good call.
Yeah. Because that doesn't look good on a resume. It's like, well, what did you do after your last job? We see this like space here, between jobs. And it's like, well, I'll tell you, I didn't eat someone's face off. I think that's going to be a plus. I don't know.
So, what are you gonna do? You're looking for something? You're gonna write? You're gonna?
Yes, all of the above. I've been working a little more on my writing. I'm still looking for something else, of course, because unemployment is not gonna, it's just gonna pay my bills and it's gonna buy me some top ramen.
Yeah.
And I can eat more than top ramen, but it's just covering my bills. So I definitely will need to find something. But at the moment, I'm not desperate enough to take really crappy jobs. I'm still looking for something decent. And as things wind down, the unemployment winds down and stuff, or I decide I really can't live on what I'm getting from them, that's when I'll start thinking about taking anything. I'm not proud, man. I'll flip burgers.
Okay.
I don't want to flip burgers. Ange wants me to flip burgers. My daughter wants me to flip burgers. Not that she wants me to have that job and she wants me to flip the burgers, but she's just like, oh, snap. If you worked at McDonald's, like, free McDonald's. Like, I would be McMondo.
Yeah. I don't know if that's good.
It's not good. But, at least she looks at it positively. She's like, well, hey, look, if you're stuck at McDonald's, hey, McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to come to that.
No. Yeah. You'll be fine.
Yeah. But, I've started another project. I'm going to go ahead and mention it. I got a daily podcast.
I've been listening.
How do you like it?
I like it. I like, it's like, I like any kind of music discovery kind of deal for me because I don't like listening to the radio much, and aside from the fact that the kind of music you listen to isn't generally played on the radio, I'm always looking for. I don't want to be that old guy that sits around and says, there's been no good music since since Kurt Cobain shot his head off. I'm almost at that point. I mean, my favorite radio stations is still like on Sirius XM, which I have in my truck. The station I listen to most is the grunge station.
Right.
And I really try to keep my mind open to other kinds of music, even modern. Jen listens to a lot of current music, WPLJ kind of stuff here in New York, top 40 stuff. And right. So I really try and keep my mind open to all that stuff. And your show is another way for me to listen to, music that I've never heard. I like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's terminalsignal.net, and it's at the moment it's Monday through Friday every morning by 6 o'clock. There's an episode. There'll be an episode up. It's under 10 minutes. Typically 2 songs, and I'll talk a little bit, either music news or I'll go on about something. I don't. But so listeners of Not the Show should check it out. Listeners of Not the Show can listen for free actually at terminalsignal.net.
Nice.
I mean, anyone can listen for free, but shout out to the Not the Show listeners. But
the Signal player. I see. That's archive.com, isn't it?
It looks
like the player. Oh, that's PodTrack. Okay.
PodTrack. I was gonna put that on the front page, but I decided against that.
You don't need the giant kind of window, I think, on your front page.
Nah.
That's video. I guess it's made for videos in that spot.
Yeah.
That's cool. What's the WTF button? I haven't been to the actual site yet. Oh, that's the information. I see.
Yeah, it's like an about page.
Got it.
Because what the fuck?
I like the page. Simple.
Yeah, actually, we can talk about this after the show, but I've been thinking a lot about some redesign on Not the Show, but we can talk about that some other time.
Okay.
And our viewers will see it later, maybe.
Cool. Yeah, everybody should go check it out. Terminalsignal.net. I was gonna mention it before you even mentioned it, right? And I did a search. I wanted to make sure about the URL, and it came up pretty high in my results. Maybe it could be though because Google knows I know you.
Maybe. That's how Google works.
Yeah. So when I do Google Terminal Signal, first thing that shows up that pertains to you is your Illiteri, a link to your Illiteri, and it put it up there because it recognized that you're my friend on Google Plus.
Right.
And then your actual post on Google Plus about Terminal Signal is the next link that shows up. And then then there you are. There you are more than once. 1, 2, 3. So you're the 7th link down, and 3 in a row. Terminal Signal number 2, Memorial Day, and Terminal Signal number 4, Laid Off, all came up in my top 10 search results.
Sweet.
Yeah, I wonder if I logged out, what would come up, or if I switched to what do they call incognito mode?
Incognito. I don't think I've ever played with that.
Yeah, there's you can shut off so that you can surf porn without your family knowing. New incognito window. There's an incognito window. Wow, it's even a different color. Oh, and the little dude in the corner's got a hat and sunglasses like a spy. So let's Google it. Terminal Signal. There you are, 4th hit.
Nice.
That's pretty good. It's of course the description is 4th, 5th, and 6th you are. See, that's better than Discordia, better than Not the Show. None of those come. Well, I wonder Not the Show. If I do not the show, we are not even in the first 10. No, you know what? We're number one.
If you put it in quotes,
we're number one.
Right up.
We're the top. We're number one. I was wrong.
Okay.
Not the show. Top of the list. Yeah, you know what it is? It's because it's very. If I put Discordia 19, then I'm also first hit.
Right.
But if I just put Discordia, yeah, not even in the top 10 there. There's a whole bunch of other Discordia stuff. If I put Stephen King, I think I show up 6 or 7 pages down. I don't know how to fix that. I really don't know much about SEO to try and up that. Discordia is our Stephen King podcast, by the way. And of course, not the show is what you're listening to now.
Yep.
Anyway, enough about SEO and websites. Yeah. We got some news going on. I guess, so that you talked about your week. Your week was not good. 2 weeks. How was your Memorial Day? We skipped Memorial Day show.
Memorial Day was good. We went to John's on Memorial Day, our usual thing. John grilled, which he did again today. Actually, I didn't think he was going to grill today, but I guess they had stuff that they had to get rid of, and they had extra kids at the house, so they grilled. But yeah, we grilled on Memorial Day, and my mom was there. It was very nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it was very nice. How was yours?
We went to 2 different barbecues. One at Jen's friend Billy's house. That was during the day with Joe in the pool, and then we got a babysitter, and we went to a second barbecue at my friend Tracy's house. Not really a barbecue. That was more like, neither of them were really barbecues, because we missed the barbecue part of the nighttime party, and the daytime party they had like regular just food, no barbecue. Right. So I missed out on all the barbecue that day.
Oh.
Yeah, it's okay. But so yeah, we got to Tracy's, and Jen had been drinking all day at the daytime barbecue, and I knew I had to drive, so I was like, I didn't drink.
Right.
And we got to nighttime barbecue, and she was drunk when she got there, and she got hammered like nearly immediately. I mean, to the point where she was like, couldn't speak.
Oh boy.
I don't know how much of this I should talk about on the show, but she was pretty incoherent. She's like, "I'm the designated driver," she's telling everybody. Because that was really because when we planned the day, she was like, when we get to Tracy's, I'll drink at the daytime. You could drink at night, and then I'll drive home. I was like, that's fine with me, but she couldn't speak, and and I was like, how am I gonna have any fun at this party if I have to watch you? And she's like, of course, in retrospect, she says, you don't have to watch me, just let me get drunk and make a fool of myself. I was like, okay. But then she got to a point where she would pass out on my shoulder, so I just carried her upstairs and put her in a bed.
Aww.
And then I got to have fun, because we never left. We just stayed till morning.
That's good.
I left her passed out up there.
I was going to say, that's why if you're going to take turns being a designated driver,
mm-hmm.
you always got to make sure you're going to be the last one. Because if you're already drunk, it's like people are just like, oh, shit. And you just try to make sure that nobody drives at that point. But, if you decide like you're going to be the, the first designated driver.
Right.
Everybody else might get drunk, and then you're just stuck.
It sucks.
It does. But it sounds like you had a good time regardless.
I did. Once I was able to put her to bed, I was able to have fun. They're my friends mostly anyway, that group. Right. So I was like, and then the next day, they were all like, Jen's awesome. And I was like, oh, that was not awesome for me. I was like, it was fine when she went out, because my alternative was to take her home.
Right.
Right? And I was like, if there was no bed or place for her to crash, I was going to have to leave. And so, she said I lectured her, but I was upset, so I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know how, She said I shouldn't be embarrassed because people get drunk and people do silly things. And I was like, okay, so let's take out the fact that I was embarrassed that these people that I know a bunch of them really well, but half the people there were strangers almost.
Right. And
so, okay, I won't be embarrassed, but still, there was a chance that this would have ended the evening, and I would have had I wouldn't have been able. I would have had to take her home and then go back maybe.
Right.
To do to have any kind of fun. Anyway,
that's how things work out a lot too, though, with the people thinking like your drunk friend or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend is awesome. It's like usually it's like you're just like at the time you're just mortified because your friend or partner or whatever is just like wasted, at a party with your friends, and you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, yeah, the next day they're just like, that your friend's awesome, your wife's awesome. Yeah, and I hear you though. It's no.
Yeah.
I was like, I was shitting myself. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad things worked out. But I was shitting myself all night. One more thing about me getting laid off.
Okay.
I just want to, I got laid off by UPS.
Right.
Ultimately, the ads on the Ustream tonight, they're all UPS. The universe is fucking mocking me. That's all I wanted to say.
That's good. All right, let's what else? What else? Anything else in the world? We have some real news that we'll talk about. Some like not movie or TV news. We'll get to it. But today the space shuttle, they put it on a boat. They were bringing it up the Hudson today, or some river. It's heading for the Intrepid, and we were going to totally go out there and watch it pass. Going to the Verrazano. Would have been pretty awesome. But then it rained. We were like, fuck it.
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't go. But in other space news, that SpaceX totally went to space, came back, space station. They hung out. They dropped off some food, took back some poop, and landed safely.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And it's sad. It's awesome and it's sad because I'm glad that we're working around the NASA problem.
Yeah.
Because if you ask me, it's a problem. I mean, how long it takes SpaceX to do that?
Oh, I don't know. They've been
working on it, but
time. Think about the CEO. It's like it was just some billionaire who's like, I think I want to make a company and send rockets to space.
Right.
And how do you have that vision and say to yourself, it must have taken years and years and years to get it together and millions of dollars. And there was the potential for them to get a NASA contract, right? So once the mission was successful, they'll have a $1.6 billion contract with NASA to deliver 12 missions to the ISS.
That sounds like a pretty good return.
It is, but there was potential for it never to work. If the ship kept failing, or if they couldn't launch, or if it didn't do anything, this could have just been a big flop.
But I gotta say, NASA's been working on shit like this for since the 50s, and I'm still just bummed out about our space program.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. There's it's fun, and we as geeks are like, wow, that's awesome, but there's no national pride behind it. Think about the way the Apollo missions and the first shuttles and all that. There was people would be watching it on the news and feel good about themselves. Yeah, we beat the Ruskies and stuff like that.
Right.
Now it's nice, and everybody's like, hey, look, maybe I can buy a ticket for $1 million and go to space in the next 10 years. But it's not the same thing, I don't think.
Yeah, no.
I
was waiting with bated breath though, man. I was following that whole SpaceX thing.
Me too. I watched the splashdown. It was neat. They did it all live on YouTube or someplace. I wonder how much James Doohan had to pay to have his ashes sent up in the ship.
I would like to think that he didn't have to pay anything.
Me too, but
I'd like to think that I would have to pay a couple $1 million. If I just called, Elon Musk up and I was just like, yo, dude, can you send my ashes to space? He'd be like, yeah, for $5 million. But I think if Scotty called you, it's you're just gonna be like, man, I will pay you to send your ashes to space. How about that? I don't know. Do we know how much he paid?
I don't know how much he paid, but I know how much they charge, which is probably another way they could monetize this if NASA had crapped out on them, right?
Right.
There were lipstick-sized tubes of cremated remains. 300 space enthusiasts paid for this mission, and they were released into Earth orbit, where they'll float for approximately a year as a zero-G memorial before being incinerated into the atmosphere. It costs approximately $3,000 per family.
Within 5 years, we're all going to have a particle of Scotty in our lungs.
And you know what? Truthfully, a funeral costs fucking tens of thousands of dollars.
Sure.
With a burial and a headstone and the box. The box is probably $3,000 by itself. That's a pretty good price. When you still got to pay for the cremation and all that beforehand. But $3,000, not bad.
Cremation is generally cheap, isn't it?
I don't know.
I mean, it's cheaper than a funeral.
Yeah, it has to be.
Of course, I suppose. Like, I mean, some people still, even with the cremation, they get, they buy the big box, and
Yeah.
then they will bury the fancy urn.
They burn the big box. What a waste, huh?
Yeah, I know. They make cardboard boxes you can be like burned in. That's what I want. And I want people. I'm going to have Sharpies available. I want people to write messages on the cardboard box. I guess it's like a cardboard coffin. It's not like in a refrigerator box. It's like a cardboard coffin.
Yeah.
Because they have to put you in something.
Yeah, I think so.
So I want people to write messages and and then burn it all. And then burn me again. I want to have like a Viking funeral, but since you can't do that legally without a lot of running around, just take my remains, and if you can't afford to get them into space, just burn them.
It's awesome.
Reburn them. Particle of Mondo and Scotty in everybody's lungs in 5 years.
I like it. In other real-world news, Matt Smith got to carry the Olympic torch.
That is awesome.
Yeah. As part of the Olympic relay, the torch was going through Cardiff, and Matt Smith got to carry the torch through. He did not wear his suit and bow tie. He's looking like he's wearing like a Olympic, like little tracksuit.
There you go.
Yeah, but there's some weird looking cops with funny hats on, like right near him, bobbies or whatever you call them.
Right.
The picture is pretty funny, but yeah, he carried the Olympic torch. That's pretty awesome.
For our less geeky fans, Matt Smith is the 11th Doctor on the Doctor Who. That's awesome.
It is, and in the 10th Doctor lit the London 2012 Olympic flame in the Doctor Who episode "Fear Her."
He did.
Yeah, so they were trying. A lot of Doctor Who fans were hoping David Tennant was going to get to carry the torch, but this is just as good. I think this is more pertinent to the time also.
Probably that would be kind of awesome.
It would have been, but yeah, he is the current Doctor. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Let's talk summer movie draft and such.
Yeah, summer movie draft. It's what are we looking at now?
We're looking at a giant landslide at the moment here. Let me play the movie drop.
Here is some money. Take them to the movies or something.
We are looking at currently a Avengers $1.3 billion total gross at the moment.
Damn.
Domestic for Avengers is $552 million at the moment.
And it just doesn't look like it's stopping.
No, foreign. There was number 3. It's the number 3 movie of all time behind Avatar and Titanic, I think.
Yeah.
And $800 million foreign. So we gotta hope. We have to. Everybody's gotta like hope here. You have to hope for Dark Knight, and who's got Spider-Man?
That's a good question.
Adam has Spider-Man.
I was about to say.
So I'm the one who's got problems here.
Yes, you do.
Although I'm currently in second place because Men in Black 3 opened pretty well. It opened not so well, but after a week it doubled. That's not terrible. Men in Black 3, $386 million. And I had Battleship, which didn't do well in the States, but did well overseas, $290 million. So I'm in second place at $677 million. That's still half of Jen.
Right.
Less than half. And Adam is coming in third at $416 million, and you're trailing, but most of your movies haven't come out yet. You're trailing at $250 million or so.
My big movies are yet to come up. I've got 2 kid movies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Paranorman, is that a kid movie?
I think so, yeah.
I don't think it's going to be as big as Brave or Madagascar, but
no.
Yeah, between my 2 kid movies and The Dark Knight Rises, yeah, I think I've got. I don't want to say I've got a shot because I mean Jen still has like so many movies that have not come out yet.
Yep.
And like most of them are probably going to do at least fairly well.
She does. She has a lot of movies. I can't believe how many movies she has on that list. How she got away with all that? She's got Ice Age. She's got Ice Age. I mean, Rock of Ages has been commercials for Rock of Ages have been all over the place, and that's Tom Cruise, and he's a draw. And the Abraham Lincoln is kind of a niche movie, and G.I. Joe may be terrible, so I wouldn't give those two too much hope. They'll probably do okay. But she's got Ice Age. That'll be big. And Sparkle. I don't remember what Sparkle is.
Yeah, I don't remember what Sparkle is either.
Yeah, I think it's like
It's like Glitter.
yeah,
But with someone else.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say too.
Oh, that was that Whitney Houston.
I can click it. Yeah. Whitney Houston, Mike Epps, executive produced by Whitney Houston.
Right. So it's not so much that like the movie might be good, so much as, I mean, she only got it for $1 too. But it's not so much that the movie might be good, but it's got that nostalgic value.
Right. So even if she makes not another dollar, Prometheus, the campaign, and the Expendables 2 will have to make me $800 million.
Right.
And you're Madagascar and Brave and Dark Knight. You need to you need to pull in $1.3 billion in your combined totals there.
Which I really don't think is going to be a problem. I mean, I still don't know if I would have enough to beat Jen, but I think between Dark Knight and Brave, you know, people love Pixar yet.
Oh, yeah.
So I think between those two movies alone, I think I'm going to be a contender.
Yeah, and I mean, and we can't leave out Adam. He's got Spider-Man, and he's got Bourne, and he's got the other two are just going to be okay. I think we like Total Recall, but I don't know how well it's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, and not for nothing. I mean, Spider-Man. I mean, I was really thinking that Spider-Man Burnout and the fact that the reboot happened so early,
Yeah.
I really thought was going to hurt Spider-Man. I'm not that I thought it was going to bomb, but you know, I thought it was going to do okay. I didn't think it was going to do great, but you know, the more trailers and stuff I see, the better I feel about Spider-Man doing really well and being a good movie, which is actually, you know, as fun as this game is, I'd really like the movie to be good.
Yeah. At first, I didn't want to see it at all, but it's looking interesting to me now. So after seeing the trailers,
Yeah.
some more of the trailers anyway. Yeah, so it's exciting. Summer, Jen got, you know, I mean, I think anyone who ended up with Avengers, the anyone, because we left out Hunger Games, Avengers was really the one to grab.
Right.
We started this after Hunger Games, so that made a fortune. We'll see. We're going to have to wait till July to find out for sure, because both Spider-Man and Dark Knight are in July. Spider-Man's 4th of July weekend. Dark Knight is end of July. I have Prometheus this week, which all the viral marketing and commercials, I still don't have any hope that it's going to make enough money for me to win, but I'd really like it to do well, and I have a feeling that it's going to do better than projected, because I think they're really being smart about it.
Me too. I have a little less. I mean, granted, I don't listen to early reviews. I don't listen to people who haven't seen a movie, how they spout about like a certain movie, like before they've even seen it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been hearing some scary things about Prometheus.
Yeah.
About how it's going to be like very pretty, but like really, it's not going to be all that good. And again, I mean, I try to ignore that, but I mean, it does worry me a little bit.
Because it's been out for a week in Europe. It's been out,
Right.
so if any reviews you see may be real reviews. They released it a week early for Europe audience. They did the same thing that Battleship did and other it's the recent trend to do that for some reason.
Right.
I wonder if there's numbers on it yet. Let me check. Prometheus. Did you watch that trailer thing from The Verge? That interview thing?
You know, I have not yet. It's still in my it's still in my Evernote.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. 35 million overseas since it came out Friday. Friday there.
Yeah, I mean, one person who was writing about it, I don't remember who it was or where I read this, but I mean, their argument was that like we shouldn't hope for too much because Ridley Scott only made 3 good movies and the rest of the movies are just kind of meh.
Okay.
And I could see where they were coming from, sort of, because he made 3 absolute, well, all right, 2, because I didn't see the other one. I can't remember what the third one was they said he started with, but Alien and Blade Runner are 2 of the greatest movies, in my opinion, ever made.
Yeah, I agree.
So I liked a lot of his other movies, and maybe they're not Alien or Blade Runner, but you know what? They don't have to be to still be like great movies.
You're right. And looking this, I looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes. 80% good reviews.
That's good.
From critics. But you know what? Prometheus is a visual triumph. Blah blah blah. On a visual level, blah blah blah. These are all the good reviews. Prometheus is atmospherically dazzling. See, this is what you just said, right? With a stuttering story, beneath the hype and promises, the film is very good. Better than average 3D. See, I wasn't sure if I should see it in 3D or not. Visually striking sci-fi epic. A lot of comments on how it looked, like you said.
Right.
Well-paced and perfectly structured plot. There's some good ones. Plot is slightly bonkers, but forgivably so. Visual, exuberant, genre filmmaking. Anyway.
It's like damning praise in some ways.
Yeah. Audience reviews 97% good reviews.
Well, that's also good.
Yeah, because, you can't always listen to these douchebag guys.
No. Because whenever I hear a film is like, visually whatever, it makes me think of when I was a kid and I saw Star Trek: The Motion Picture in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was possibly one of the greatest movies in the planet because I was a kid and because no matter how bad Star Trek: The Motion Picture was, visually, the movie was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was older that I was kind of like, wow, this is really kind of soft. This is like the story's crap, and it just, it's crap, but it's very pretty.
While we're talking about reviews, I'm going to jump to a story that's funny, and it's about reviews, sort of. Hulu is doing a lot of original programming these days, right? They've got a couple of... We don't talk about it much because they don't have any big-name shows like Netflix does. We've been talking about Arrested Development and some others. But Hulu's trying to do the same thing, produce their own shows, and they are producing a new half-hour movie show hosted by Kevin Smith, premiering June 4th. That's tomorrow. And according to Smith, the movie is built around the idea of 50 people talking about a film they just saw together. Incorporates bits from Jason Mewes, among others. And it sounds like it's almost like a review show, but not by reviewers, because he hates movie reviewers, right?
Right.
He doesn't.
Because they treat him like crap.
Right, because they treat him like crap, and he never believes that they're the intended audience for his movies. He has an audience that's rabid fans and that spend money on him like us. So yeah, he's going to have a half-hour show on Hulu. Or is it just Hulu Plus? Both. Hulu and Hulu Plus.
That's good, because I don't have Hulu Plus.
Neither do I. I canceled my Hulu Plus. Yeah, it sounds interesting. I might check it out. They're also producing a feature called Up to Speed, and which is a previously announced travel documentary from Richard Linklater, and starring Timothy Speed Levitch. I don't know who that is.
Name's familiar.
Yeah. So I thought that's interesting that Kevin Smith is going to do a movie review show.
Yeah, I dig that.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we got a couple more things about about movies. We got a couple things about TV, and we got some tech news of the week.
Nice.
Yeah, we haven't talked tech in a while, so we'll do that. So, first, let me talk about Audible. For you, the listeners of Not the Show, if you go to audibletrial.com/nottheshow, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. So what you do is you go to the site, audibletrial.com/nottheshow, and you sign up for a free 30-day trial, and they'll give you a free book.
Now, what if I don't want the service after that? What happens to my book?
You still get to keep the book. You can listen. You can listen to it over and over again. You can listen to it on an iPhone, an Android phone, a tablet, Kindle, or straight through a computer. A bunch of places. Even some GPSs have Audible built in, so you can listen to Audible through your GPS, which is kind of neat.
That is neat.
Yeah, and they've got every book everything you can imagine. They've got all the Game of Thrones books, which we're going to talk about a bit today, because tonight is the finale of this season's Game of Thrones. They have the Hunger Games books, 50 Shades of Grey books, if you're into that sort of thing. They have Stephen King. They have fiction and nonfiction. They have just about anything you could imagine.
They have the Dresden Files.
They do.
I keep pushing that. Have you noticed?
I do. They also have originals and exclusives to just Audible, and some of these they produce themselves. They hire readers and they do it themselves. I don't know which ones, but there's like a whole bunch that are actually produced by Audible. The top two of their bestsellers this week is 50 Shades of Grey Book 1 and 50 Shades Darker Book 2 of the 50 Shades trilogy. Oh look, 50 Shades Book 3 is number 4.
Huh.
Hunger Games is up there also in the top 5. And from there it goes to The Witness by Nora Roberts, The Storm by Clive Cussler, and George R. R. Martin, Song of Ice and Fire Book 1, Game of Thrones. The unabridged Steve Jobs biography. Making a movie out of that soon.
Yeah. Starring Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's a different one.
Oh.
The Ashton Kutcher one is not from the Walter Isaacson book.
Gotcha.
But the Walter Isaacson book is going to be produced by the same guy who did Social Network. Whoever that is.
Some guy.
Yeah.
I saw the author's penmanship evolve from the overcautious script of a child to the tightly packed scribbling of a young man. I finished reading the last page, looked over my shoulder to make sure I was still alone, and turned back to the first. I had to read it again, right now, before reason turned its dogs on the dangerous beliefs that were beginning to march through my mind.
That was a sample of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Nice.
Another great one is the 10th anniversary of American Gods. That one's read by a whole cast. It's not just one reader doing all the characters.
They took her to the cemetery in a big old Cadillac. They took her to the cemetery, but they did not bring her back. Old song.
I have taken the liberty,
said Mr. Wednesday, washing his hands in the men's room of
Like
Jack's Crocodile Bar.
of ordering food for myself.
Anyway, you all get the point. So, to download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/nottheshow. Again, that's audibletrial.com/nottheshow for your free audiobook. We thank Audible for their support of Not the Show. And we'll be right back.
The maiden's here with honey She's a maid, she's pure and fair. She'll never dance with a hairy bear. She'll never dance with a hairy bear. He lift her high into the air. She calls for a night, but he's a bear, all black and brown and full of hair. She kick and will the middle fair. He lick the honey from her hair. She's a maid, she's pure and fair. She'll never dance with a hairy bear. She'll never dance with a hairy bear. He lift her high into the air. She calls for a night, but he's a bear, all black and brown and full of hair. She kick and will the middle fair. He lick the honey from her hair. She sighed and squealed and kicked the air. My bear, she sang, my bear so fair. And up they went from here to there. The bear, and the maiden fair.
And we're back. This is not the show. Mondo, tell us about the music.
That's The Bear and the Maiden Fair by, I'll probably mispronounce this name because I don't speak French, but Irish Moutard.
Close enough.
Yeah, I figured. This is they based this song on The Bear and the Maiden Fair, which is a song constantly sung throughout the Song of Ice and Fire series.
Okay.
Which Game of Thrones is based on. It's so they did a Celtic punk version of it. I mean, they had to write it themselves because it's never sung completely in the series. Like, there's no full lyrics. I mean, people are singing snippets of it here and there, like usually in the background. So, yeah, Irish Moutard. It's a free download. If you go to irishmoutard.com, and we'll put a link on there, but it's
sure.
Because how do you spell Moutard? Moutarde. I don't expect anyone to remember that, so we can put a link, but it's a free download on their website.
Cool, yeah, everybody should go check that out, download. We'll put a link in the show notes. What was the opener?
The opener was Walk Like a Zombie by the Horror Pops. And that was chosen in honor of all the face eating going on lately.
Right.
Right. You know, I had wanted to play that a few weeks ago, or a couple months ago now, during Walking Dead. But I had never gotten around to it. I don't remember why, but I figured it suited things now. But yeah, that was the Horror Pops. They're great. Some weird country. I can't remember what country. Some weird country in Europe that does like the they do the rockabilly, psychobilly stuff like really well.
Cool. I liked your choices this week.
Thank you, sir.
So let's talk. I got a little more movie news. Kick-Ass 2. Going to be called Balls to the Wall. Chloe Moretz and Aaron Johnson both signed up to do it again. There's even going to be a cameo by her dad, who died in the last one, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe it's going to be some kind of flashback or video or something. I don't know why I can't remember who it was.
Nicolas Cage.
Of course. Yeah, Nicolas Cage. Oh, he's in negotiations to return for a cameo. And be directed by Jeff Waldo. Theaters in 2013.
Nice.
The Wolverine is going to start shooting in August. Hugh Jackman will be back. It's going to be shot in Sydney, Australia, even though the movie's set in Japan.
They're both in the Asian Pacific.
Right. The interesting thing about the set in Japan is that isn't there a storyline that everyone loves in the comics about him being in Japan?
Yeah, the first Wolverine limited series, before he had his own series, first limited series by Frank Miller, all took place in Japan. It was a lot of it did a lot with Wolverine's character. There's a lot of things like, because he's part of a team book, he's part of the X-Men, so this like solo thing is really one of the things. I mean, he was big before, but this is one of the things that made him huge.
Yeah, some of them should be interesting. The last movie was not great, but it was okay.
I still haven't seen it.
No?
No.
I saw a bootleg. There's going to be a sequel to X-Men First Class and a sequel to Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I haven't seen Planet of the Apes yet.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes is very good.
Yeah, I heard. It's on cable now, so I'll finally catch it.
Yeah, that was really that was a good one.
So Dawn of the Planet of the Apes will be Memorial Day weekend, May 23rd, 2014. Andy Serkis was offered a 7-figure deal to reprise his role as Caesar.
Damn.
Yep.
This guy's making crazy money, and nobody knows what he looks like.
Nope. You can walk down the street and no one would even notice him.
That's awesome.
The sequel to X-Men First Class, which has no title yet, will be summer 2014, July 18th, 2014.
X-Men First Class is another good one. I have seen that one recently.
Yeah, me too. That was good. Both sequels will be following Robopocalypse, which I read the book. That's Spielberg, supposed to come out July 3rd, 2013. But it was moved to April 25th, 2014. Wow. Instead, they're going to release the 3D version of Independence Day in 2013.
When you say the 3D version of Independence Day, are we talking a sequel that's been shot in 3D, or are we talking a re-release with a 3D conversion?
I think a re-release.
Oh. Something to spend my money on. Bastards.
Yeah.
I'll probably see it, too.
Me too. I liked it.
Who's more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him?
Speaking of throwing money away, George Lucas is leaving Lucasfilms forever.
Aww.
Yeah, he's moving away from the company. He's going to try and make hobby movies that are experimental, that he doesn't have to worry about them showing in movie theaters or making any money. And the only unmentioned part about this is what will happen to the rumored Star Wars live-action TV series and the 5th Indiana Jones movie. The IO9, is this IO9? Blaster. Blaster says that Lucas would probably leave the TV show in the hands of others at Lucasfilm, but would Harrison Ford and Steven Spielberg be willing to do Indy 5 without Lucas? That's a big question mark. So, who knows? And really, do we need another of those movies? It was bad. That last one was not good.
Yeah. Actually, I watched Crystal Skull recently again, and I mean, I still want to maintain that it's not entirely terrible, but overall, it is because they really screwed the pooch on it. But
yeah, it had its moments. That's a good way to think of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the movies I'd like to cut down to like 15 minutes of like Indiana Jones just running around doing shit.
I agree.
Now, does he actually write the scripts, or does he just come up with the story? I'm trying to look this up now, but
I don't know.
Because
that's a good question. So,
it seems to be, aside from like Star Wars and the prequels. Basically he just says, well, here's my idea. You all just go and just make it happen. I'm just going to sit back and watch you do it and like pitch a fit if like anyone fucks up my vision. And then I'm going to change everything on you later.
That's about right. That's definitely about what he does. So, I don't know. I was just telling Jen earlier that Phantom Menace I could probably let JoJo see, right? It's PG. I mean, he's 3. She's like, you can't let him see that. They shoot people. And I thought on it, and I was like, they don't, though.
They don't. They pull a G.I. Joe. They shoot robots.
Right, they shoot nothing but... I mean, the robots are shooting at the people, but no people die.
No.
Well, it's only robots that die. I mean, when you get to the third one, the flaming Anakin is a little dark for a kid, but...
Yes.
In the beginning there, I mean, and doesn't Darth Maul get chopped in half when he falls down a hole? But there's no blood.
There's no blood.
It's a lightsaber. It's not supposed to have blood.
Qui-Gon gets poked in the stomach and dies.
Yeah.
Because no blood.
Yeah.
Right, and you're not even sure. It's like, unless you're looking carefully, if you're a kid anyway, I mean, we would notice this because riveted during that lightsaber scene.
Sure.
But if you're a kid, they kind of show you the legs like a little later. True. Like he's already falling, and then you're kind of like, oh, look, there go his legs. Oh.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. She says he's young. I can't blame her. She's right. He's too young. I let him watch Avengers. But it was a bootleg, so it was a little fuzzy. And, and I fast-forwarded through anything that I thought was too scary.
Right.
But, now he does nothing but smash things with a shield and a hammer.
Nice.
It's probably a mistake.
No, that's awesome. I recently saw something. Someone had someone came up with a chronology of watching the Star Wars films that actually worked for me. It's like a lot of people just like, no, just start with 4 and, work your way the way they were released.
Mm-hmm.
But this way actually made a little more sense to me. It was first you watch episode 4, A New Hope, Star Wars.
Yeah.
followed by Empire Strikes Back,
Okay.
and then you watch Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Because it's like you get the reveal in Empire that that Vader is Luke's dad.
Yeah.
That was a spoiler in case like anyone has been living under a fucking rock. And then you show like fall of Anakin Skywalker to the dark side. You skip like Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Or you watch like one of the clever edits that people have done that have edited out like, you know, all the crap. Yeah, so then you watch the 2 prequels that were like really good. And then you follow that with Return of the Jedi for the redemption.
For the happy ending.
Yeah, for the happy ending. I thought that was actually pretty good. I'm going to try watching them that way.
It is. It's pretty logical. So there's going to be 2 Silence of the Lambs based TV shows coming out. Pushing Daisy's creator Brian Fuller is hatching a show about young Hannibal Lecter.
I'll watch that.
And another
That's
network,
all you had to say.
Lifetime is developing Clarice, which would follow Clarice Starling just after she graduates from the FBI Academy and begins her career. So that's before she, before the case. Oh, after she graduates from FBI Academy. So it must be after, right? Because she was still a student when she had the whole Hannibal thing.
Right.
Yeah, so there's about 7 years worth of stories to tell because the book Hannibal by Thomas Harris was 7 years after the events of Silence of the Lambs. So there's all that space in between for her to do stuff. The Hannibal series, which had a 13-episode order from NBC, they don't say how many episodes on Lifetime will be the Clarice show.
You know, I'm Clarice. But the Hannibal show, I mean, normal. Like, if you told me anyone else is involved, I'd be like, all right, yeah, maybe I'll watch it. But Brian Fuller is like, I love him.
Yeah,
he is the creator of Pushing Daisies and Dead Like Me. You mentioned Pushing Daisies, but also Dead Like Me.
Yep.
And both of these were like dark, quirky ass shows.
Great shows. I like both. I watch both.
Yeah, and what I'm really hoping, like, sort of, I mean, because at the same time, it's like, I don't know that it would necessarily be a good thing, but I would like this Hannibal series to be kind of quirky, dark and quirky.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder how you're going to pull that off.
But, I mean, he doesn't have to do, you know, quirky. I mean, he's done stuff, like, he's done a lot of Deep Space Nine, he did some stuff. And, Wonder Falls I've never seen, but I know he's involved in that. But yeah, I mean, Dead Like Me and Pushing Daisies are like 2 of my favorite like all-time shows. Like if I had a list of like top 30 television shows, they'd be in there somewhere. And I watch a lot of TV, so that's saying a lot.
So like the What Are We Watching section, we have Game of Thrones ending tonight, which we should check in now.
Oh yeah, we should. It's after 9. Check in.
Game of Thrones ending tonight. Last week was the big war.
Yeah, geek fail here. The Blackwater.
Right.
Yes.
They changed some stuff.
They did.
I hardly remember the book though. I only know they changed some stuff because I heard it on another podcast.
Well, one thing that they changed that I noticed, and I was hoping that they would change, was you know, spoiler if anyone hasn't watched it last week, but Tyrion Lannister, our favorite dwarf, he goes out and leads the fight himself because like everyone's demoralized. Everyone's like, "Oh, we're gonna fucking die,"
and the king runs
and like
away.
This sucks. Right, the king runs away. The Cersei Lannister is like, you know, she's ready to like just have everybody killed and commit suicide herself.
Yep.
And Tyrion's just like, "Man, you all suck. I'm just gonna go lead. I'm a fucking midget, and I'm gonna go lead this fucking battle." And now in the books, one of the things that happens is he does take an axe to the face.
Yep, he gets his nose cut off.
Nose cut off. He gets like his face is like seriously fucked up.
Yeah.
Now it looks like they're not going to cut his nose off in this. He did get a nice facial scar.
He did.
Now I got to say one of the reasons why they probably did that. I mean, Peter Dinklage for like, you know, I mean, I'm not into, you know, dwarves or men, but he's a good-looking guy.
Sure.
So let's keep him good-looking. But also, you got to imagine that, like, I mean, he's a major character in all of the books so far, with the exception of A Feast for Crows. He's a major character. He's in every episode of the series, just about, if not every episode.
Yeah.
I got to imagine like doing makeup, like removing his nose,
Every week.
would be insane. It's
Yeah,
a lot
it'd be
easier
tough.
to slap a scar across his face.
I agree.
But there was
a
a whole
decent
chain
change.
thing too. He had this chain so that like nobody could back up away from the fire.
Right. Instead, they used that floating boat with the spilling the fire. Right. They
Right.
didn't bother with the chain.
Right, but it's still very good.
Yeah, it was well done. And the characters are fleshing out nicely. Even like Sansa, I thought the actress who played Sansa was just kind of okay, but she's playing her really well. She's starting to get some backbone. She's starting to, like she was supposed to. You know, she's supposed to gradually, realize the hell that she's gotten herself into and
Right.
become more grown up.
The feminists will probably come after me for this, but I mean, she is having her period,
Yes,
so she's a little moody. It seems. Or something.
yeah.
Oh, I just made a whole bunch of enemies. But yeah, no, it's been coming along nicely. We haven't talked about it much this season, but
Because I was not into it for like half the season.
yeah, and I mean, it was it didn't drag at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it just really seemed that there wasn't a lot to talk about until like recently. It's like the characters are just kind of getting themselves set up for last week and this week.
Yeah, I mean, what's tonight? Tonight is what's her name going to go get her dragons? Is that how this ends out? This book?
I think so, and that's something else that changed. Well, she didn't lose her dragons in the books.
Okay,
So I mean,
but she did burn the see the spoilers if you haven't read the books. They do burn the temple or whatever it's called where all those warlocks right. That was if I remember. They somehow destroyed the. I don't know it's not dawning on me.
she is
Anyway.
I can't recall either.
I'm guessing since she wasn't in the last one at all. I'm guessing tonight she'll be back.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I do like her storyline.
And Arya wasn't in last week's either.
That's true.
But she's guaranteed. I would guarantee that she'll be back tonight because she's one of my favorite characters in this whole series.
Mm-hmm.
She's the only person who I've actually been interested in most of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's the only one who's been doing like anything really interesting.
I suppose.
Jon Snow started doing interesting stuff a couple of episodes ago when he got himself into trouble. But aside from that, it was just Jon Snow is walking around in the snow going, oh, it's cold and, I want to be a ranger. But Arya's, she made friends with that guy that she saved.
Yes.
Who's an assassin. And she's had him killing people. And she's been getting information from Daddy Lannister. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but she's been getting some information.
Who now showed up and saved the day at the big battle scene.
Right. And now that was something that they changed in the books. There were other people there. She never actually interacted with him at Harrenhal. So that's a change. Not a big one, but
I guess you have to.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been enjoying the last few. I'm hoping it's gonna be good tonight.
Yeah.
Let's switch to some techie news. Google closed their Motorola acquisition. Pretty soon, we're gonna have Google Rollas and Moto Googles.
I like Google Rolla.
Google Rolla phones. I'm guessing the next Nexus phone will be a Motorola Nexus phone. Maybe.
I'm waiting for the reviews for the Sprint's LGE 4 Evo LGE 4G LTE.
Yeah.
They've been really good.
Yeah.
Even though Sprint's 4G network hasn't really been rolled out yet or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like a good phone.
Yeah,
That's an HTC. It's not a Motorola or anything.
all of the the flagship phones tend to be good phones on these networks. The HTC, that's the HTC's flagship phone, and now not the Nexus, but the Galaxy 3 is just about to drop. That's the big Samsung one, and I'm sure they're going to sell a lot. The stores have pre-ordered something like 10 million handsets already. That's not sold. That's in stores.
Right.
But yeah, they know what they're doing these days. It's so hard to differentiate themselves. It's always about bigger screens, and there's so much. There's only so much new stuff you can do.
Right.
And even continuing on that note, the iPhone 5 rumors are flowing like crazy because WWDC is next week, and so we'll hear about the new version of the software. We'll hear about iOS 5. Is it iOS 5? iOS 6? We'll hear about iOS 5. No, 6. We'll hear about iOS 6 next week, so all the new software stuff. And I don't think they'll announce a phone, but the phone will be out in October. So the rumors are they're going to have a bigger screen, which I think is smart. I like my 3.5-inch screen. I have no problem with it, but all the phones are bigger now, and by putting a bigger screen, you get a bigger battery and stuff like that. That's why they do stuff like that, I think.
Right.
Redesigned look they're talking about, maybe like all metal on the back again. They're talking about replacing Google Maps with Apple's own mapping solution. They bought 3 different map companies last year, so they're thinking there's going to be a 3D mapping support. LTE is going to be added in. Possibly they're going to stop giving it a number. They may call it just iPhone, kind of like the new iPad is just called iPad.
Right.
No numbers. That's a possibility. It may be made of this weird metal called liquid metal. That's a distant rumor. And Facebook integration may be in much more. Kind of like, on your phone when you take a picture, you can click on like share on Facebook and it'll just drop it to Facebook.
Right.
You can't do that on iOS except with Twitter. Because Twitter and Apple have a deal together. For me, I have to take a picture, go to the Facebook app, open it, and then I can share the picture. It's about the sandboxing. It's about rules between programs are not allowed to access each other's memory. So it makes things a little more difficult to do in iOS, but more secure. And it's one of those little annoyances that, the easy ways to get around, but it'd be nice to have more Facebook integration in there since I use it so much.
Right.
Yeah,
I use it more than I'd like to, personally, as well. I mean, I don't know if you like it more, use it more than you'd like to. I definitely use it more than I'd like to.
I use it a lot. I'm a Facebook guy.
That's just where everybody is, though.
It is. That's why I use it.
I gotta say, if more people are on Twitter, I might tweet more. But I actually do stuff on the Facebook because that's where everybody is.
I agree. It's like everybody except AJ.
Yeah. he's like the last man on Earth.
I think he is.
I am legend. Yep. The story of AJ avoiding Facebook.
I think that's all we have.
Yeah. Unless AJ gets on Facebook.
Ha!
That'll be like that. That could be a show in itself. You realize if he got onto Facebook now, he would be so lost. Most of us have slowly adapted from status updates to all the insanity. I think it would blow his mind.
I think it would too.
It'd be too much. I couldn't handle it. Does he still have MySpace?
He does. I don't know if he uses it.
That's funny.
He stopped by the shop the other day. He was like, I just got back from Switzerland. Said it was pretty. He showed me pictures. He said the girls are very sexually open in Switzerland. I was like, I don't want to hear about that. Get away from me.
God bless him.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's the show. We do this every Sunday night at 8 o'clock. You can find everything we do at nottheshow.com. We have a Twitter at nottheshow, and we have personal Twitters. I'm at ojoey, and Mondo's at dharmabob. We do a couple other shows. Go to discordia19.com, and you could read about everything Stephen King. I blog and podcast about Stephen King. And Mondo does a music podcast now called Terminal Signal at terminalsignal.net. It's a daily podcast, about 10 minutes long. You can hear some music and some talk about music. Subscribe in your favorite podcatcher. Or on iTunes. Or both.
Or both.
Yeah. And that's it, I think.
Yeah.
We will be back next week with an all-new show.
With an all-new show, and I gotta say, spoiler alert for next week, you're going to see Prometheus before next Sunday, right?
Friday. We're going to see. We're going to an AMC dine-in movie theater where you get waitress service and you can order food while you eat. Yeah,
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll talk about that too. The interesting experience of having a full waitress meal. You can order salmon and steak.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not just. There's two different versions. There's the 21 and over version where you can order fancy meals, and there's the 18 and older version where you can order hamburgers and pizza. And I think we're going to the more adult one. There's also a full bar. You can drink while you watch the movie.
That's awesome.
Tickets are a little more money than regular movie tickets do.
Right.
Well, and then they don't come with any food either.
So I expect we'll be talking about Prometheus next week.
Yeah, I think we will.
Prometheus and steak.
Yep. Prometheus and steak and Game of Thrones.
Yes.
So everybody have a good night, and we will see you next week.
Take her easy.
Take care, Mondo.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.